Good evening, everybody, and welcome to my Facebook Lives. I'm David Shepherd, and this is our first one in 2018. And so I know it's a little bit late, but I'd like to wish you a very happy new year for 2018. And one of the focuses for my Facebook Lives this year is going to be how do we make 2018 our best year yet. So hopefully we've got some of our regulars here after we've taken around about a month's break over Christmas and New Year, and hopefully also some newbies. So welcome back to some of you, and welcome here for the first time. Just to give you a little bit of logistics, there will be a Facebook Live. Who we got? We've got Katie Taylor, we've got Claire Hegarty. Hi guys, thanks for joining us. Just so that you know the logistics, there'll be a Facebook Live approximately around about 20-30 minutes long every Thursday evening at 1900 GMT or 1900 BST, and that will be from wherever I am in the world. At the moment I'm in our offices here in Twickenham in West London. And just so that tonight's really about what we've got in store for you this year. So that's really all I'm going to talk about tonight, and tell you about what we're going to be doing from the first real David Shepherd's Facebook Lives, which will be next Thursday. So, as many of you know, I started out in 1993 teaching this thing called NLP. I became a practitioner of NLP in May 1993, so I'm coming up for my 25th anniversary this year, which will be really cool. And so the reason why I love NLP is because it really does enable us to take control of our thinking, enables us to manage our thinking. Literally, it's the user manual for your brain. So not only is it great for improving your communication with yourself, it's also fantastic for communicating with other people. So a lot of what we're going to be doing over the next year, every Thursday, will obviously be based on NLP. Then if we were to look at NLP and go, okay, that's NLP, so what's this? And for those of you who have watched my Let's Make 2018 Our Best Year Yet video, either whether you were there live or whether you were actually at the event or whether you've watched the live stream, then, Kate Athanasi, hi Kate, and Elma and Linda Fox, great, thanks for joining us this evening for our first Facebook Live. Then this will be familiar if you've watched that from our annual event. So I think that NLP is an example of hypnosis, in that NLP works with the unconscious mind. And that's what makes it work. And obviously hypnosis is therefore a broader field than NLP. You might be wondering, so for those of you who've studied timeline therapy, for those of you who've studied mental emotional release, where do they appear on this particular diagram? Because obviously those are also things that I'm very, very passionate about teaching. Oh, my pen's stuck, there we go. So I would say that, timeline therapy and mental emotional release would be right on the cusp of NLP and hypnosis, in that obviously many of the principles within timeline therapy and mental emotional release are actually found within neuro-linguistic programming. And also, though, heavily influenced by hypnosis, particularly Ericksonian hypnosis. Who's got Soren? We've got Louise Baker. Hi, Louise, and Mike Walton. Mike, welcome back from your travels. Actually, I think that's the wrong mic. I'm not sure if you have been travelling, Mike. So timeline therapy, mental emotional release, particularly, my mentor and friend Tad James said that when he created timeline therapy or discovered timeline therapy, he was very, very heavily influenced by Ericksonian hypnosis, and particularly the case study of Harvey the Sad Sack in the practical application of medical and dental hypnosis, which was a case that Erickson worked on. Harvey the Sad Sack, interesting title. You've got to remember that this is probably the 1950s, early 60s. And Harvey was a rather sorry individual. Didn't have a particularly good job. He did get a parking space with his job, but somebody used to steal his parking space every day. Didn't live in a particularly good rooming house, didn't eat in a particularly good cafe or restaurant. But he decided to turn his life around, and he went to see Milton Erickson. And Milton had him imagine being in a movie theater and watching certain key moments in his life on the movie screen. And from an NLP point of view, what Erickson enabled him to do was to reframe those events, to change the meaning of those events, and therefore the impact that it would have on his future. And the very next day, Harvey gave the person who stole his parking space a piece of his mind and claimed his space. He got promoted. He moved to a better rooming house. He started eating in a better restaurant. Got some new clothes. And after a very short period of time, met the girl, got married, had several children, and also had several dogs, which was one of Erickson's key measures of success in life, was you were married, you had children, and had several dogs. And so that particularly influenced Tad when he was creating timeline therapy. So we will also be including things from timeline therapy, from also mental emotional release. And, you know, for me, they are very, very powerful techniques. I'm really excited about the seminar that I'm running this weekend, starting on Saturday, Fix Your Mind, where I'll be guiding the delegates there through releasing negative emotions like anger and sadness and fear and guilt, and removing limiting decisions, aligning their values, and also programming their future in a way that it actually happens. So this is obviously going to be a key piece in our Facebook Lives over the coming weeks. And 2017 was a big year for me, particularly because for the first time, formally, Fix Your Mind, that's 27th, 28th of January. Formally, I returned to teaching Huna in Hawaii twice a year with our Huna intensives, those being in both March and September on the big island of Hawaii, on the Kona coast. And so, Huna is also something that's very, very close to my heart, something I'm very, very passionate about. And, the thing that comes in when we get to this level here is we get the notion of energy. Obviously, within traditional NLP, within hypnosis, there isn't the concept of energy, as in life force energy. And that appears within the study of Huna. And, although energy doesn't appear in NLP or hypnosis, it's vitally important for the ancient people of the planet. It was a primary concern. They said the energy was really the key difference between life and death, and wellness and disease. So obviously, energy and the concepts within Huna are very, very important. And so I'll be integrating all of these things as we go through the Facebook Lives over the next few weeks. And, I did this when we were on our best year yet, because I then went, okay, so if that's NLP, then what's this? Hypnosis. If that's hypnosis, then what's this? It's Huna. Then if this is Huna, then what's this? Then the answer that I got, and this is obviously just my thinking, it's not right or wrong, it's just the answer that comes up for me is influence. Our ability to influence ourselves, our ability to influence other people, and our ability to influence our environment in general, and therefore our ability to be able to influence the results that we get. And that really is the big picture as to what we're going to be looking at over the next weeks and months for 2018. And I want to make this really very tangible, because there is this saying that information is power, knowledge is power, and that's true to a certain extent. In the information is power if you can use it. knowledge or information is power as long as you can actually apply it and create tangible change and tangible results in your life. So over the coming weeks, we're going to be looking at how we can use concepts and actual practical techniques from NLP, from hypnosis, from timeline therapy, from mental emotional release, from Huna, to be able to have an influence over certain areas of our life. So we're going to be looking at how can we use those to influence in a positive way our business or our career. We will also be looking at how can we use these particular techniques to improve our health and fitness. Also, how can we use these techniques to improve our personal relationships? And by relationships, that's the relationships that in general that we have with other people, but also I'm thinking about our primary, our intimate relationship as far as that's concerned, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. If you have one of those, then how do you take your relationship with them to a whole new level? If you don't have a relationship at this particular point in time and you want one, then how can we use NLP? How can we use hypnosis? How can we use Huna to be able to create the relationship that we want? Even if at this particular point in time there isn't one, how do we go about attracting to us our ideal partner, and with that person creating our ideal relationship? If we're already in a relationship, how can we rejuvenate, how can we revitalize that relationship and take it to a whole new level? And also we will be looking at specific kind of relationships, as in our family relationships. How can we enhance those? For those of you with kids, how can we use NLP and hypnosis and timeline therapy, mental emotional release and Huna to really empower our kids to be able to go out and create the kind of lives that they want, get the kind of results that they want in education. And those are what I would call like the real 4 pillars in life. And it's really important that all of these are working. I think that we love to think that these different areas of our life don't impact each other. And there's this saying, wherever you go, there you are. So all of those areas of your life have one thing in common, and that's you. And so we can't have these areas of life in silos. So they do have an impact on all areas. We're not going to be able to truly be able to excel in our business, as an example, if our health and fitness aren't where they need to be. If we've got problems in our relationships, if we've got family issues, they will at the very least be a distraction from our success in business. And then, a more tangible, area that we will be touching on, which I know is important for a lot of people, is the area of money, finance, and wealth. From a mindset point of view, not so much as in strategies for increasing money or making more money, though if you're interested in those, then please contact me and I'll schedule a particular one for that. But these are the key areas, and I guess the final one, a bit of more of an intangible, would be personal growth and development. And then an even more intangible one, for those of you who are interested, spirituality. Obviously, that is very much in the domain of Huna, but it's important. This is becoming an increasingly important area. I think a lot of people think of spirituality as being like organized religion, whereas that's not what I'm talking about in any way, shape, or form here. I'm just talking about the spiritual aspect, the idea of there being something bigger than you out there. And there was I think it was Google that did a research project. And they looked at some of the real major players in the business world. The Richard Bransons, the Elon Musks, etc. of the world, those real movers and shakers in the business world. And obviously, some of the world's most wealthiest people, where's money, there it is, wealthiest people. And one of the things that they all had in common wasn't necessarily what they called spirituality, but they spent on a daily basis some kind of mindfulness practice. Now, I know we've actually got a field called mindfulness. It's been a little bit controversial in the press as to whether it's actually of value and benefit to people. I'm using mindfulness in a broader sense than just the mindfulness techniques that are specifically being taught, like meditation, for instance, which appears in. We've got some meditation techniques in Huna, which I can share with you, or even just spending some time each day communing with nature, or just being with your own thinking. That's what I mean by mindfulness or a spirituality. So obviously, this is becoming recognized as an important discipline, if you like, if we want to be successful and operating at what I would call a world-class level in all of these areas. So we're going to be cherry-picking some of these particular topics and looking at how we can use NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy, mental emotional release, and Huna to enable us to really take all of those areas of our life to a new level in 2018 and literally, do what we promised with our event in early December 2017, which was this: let us make 2018 our best year yet. So it's not just about you making it your best year yet. It's not just about me making it my best year yet. It's really, with these Facebook Lives, we can create a community, and we can share our results, etc., as we come out with the videos each evening. Now, I really want to make these Facebook Lives work for you in a really tangible way. So, with these things in mind, those particular areas, with these particular things here, if you have particular tangible results that you want to be able to create this year in those areas of life using these particular things, and you'd like me to dedicate a Facebook Live specifically to that, then please PM me on Facebook, and what I'll do is I'll schedule something in over the next weeks and months. Our Facebook Live next week, it's still going to be January, although admittedly towards the end of January, and around January people set New Year's resolutions. If you're anything like me, you did a major goal setting session for all the things that you want to create for yourself, all the things you want to achieve in 2018. And January is a really good time for that. Plus, we also had the new moon just on the 16th in Capricorn, my birth sign. So we got a new moon in a very, very earthy, very tangible perspective. So great time for setting goals. So what I'm going to talk about next week on next week's Facebook Live, which will be Thursday at 7 p.m. GMT or UTC, I'm going to talk about goals and intentions. What's the relationship between goals and intentions? What's the differences between them? And how can we actually use both? And also the importance of having our goals and our intentions in alignment. So that's what we're going to be talking about next weekend, not next weekend, next Thursday evening on Facebook Live. I'm a little bit rusty on our Facebook Lives. I haven't done one for about a month, and I had to work out how the camera works and all those kind of things. But we'll get in there. We'll get into the flow by next week. So that's what we're going to be doing on next Thursday, Goals and Intentions. So please join me here. There's going to be some aspects of NLP in there, aspects of timeline therapy, mental emotional release, and also some aspects of Huna as well, particularly around intentions. So that's going to be an exciting Facebook Live, whether you can watch it live with me as we're broadcasting it, or whether you watch the recording afterwards. So thanks for joining me this evening for launching our Facebook Lives for 2018. And I look forward to seeing you every week as we work together, as I say, to make 2018 our best year yet. Have a fantastic weekend and a great week next week until I see you here on Thursday evening. Bye for now.